What's going on, guys? Resogun here. So today we're actually going to go out for a nice little trip. I think you're really going to like it. Show you what I got afterwards, and let's have some fun, alright? Let's go!
So first up, we've got my local game exchange. Let's go in and see what they got. So immediately to the right when you come in, you'll see their more common and rare Super Nintendo games like Pocky and Rocky 2 here. Super expensive, but a pretty decent game from what I understand. Never played it. Coming over this way, we've actually got their N64 sets, like Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie, Paper Mario, some Mega Man 64. Decent selection for their N64 for sure. Moving on up, we've actually got their NES selection here. Nice little set of Mega Mans. I gotta pick up a couple of those. Sadly, with these GameCube games here, none of them were really what I was looking for. Sadly, they didn't have, proper case, manual. Didn't look the greatest. It kind of sucked. Moving on up, we've actually got their Game Boy selection here. Now, I will let you know when it comes to the display case, they have changed it since I was here last, as of this recording. And it also does look a lot better. Now right here we've got their DS selection and soon the 3DS section. I don't like to look at these loose, just because I like to have a complete DS and 3DS case, like a Link Between Worlds there. I'd rather have that complete if I can. Right here we've actually got their PlayStation selection. Nothing too bad, some good stuff like Thousand Arms, Wild Arms 2. Some of these games are ones that I definitely need to pick up. Like for example, right up this way, we've got Twisted Metal 4. This is a game that I used to play with my brother all the time when we were growing up, and I loved this game. I definitely need to pick it up again. Copy of Street Fighter there, some Grandia, and right here some nice Mega Man 8. There's actually something else too. I'm trying to get, Mega Man 1 through 8. 9 and 10, I don't believe, had any physical release, but hey. Their Sega CD selection isn't the greatest, but hey, at least it's something. Some places don't even have them. But I've seen some good stuff come in, like Sonic CD. I might pick that up at some point, because I know they have it right now. And right in the back here, they've got a nice copy of Tempo. Sadly, when it comes to it, though, whenever I went back, they sold it finally. That really upset me. Now, right here's our Dreamcast selection. Growing up, I actually didn't have a Dreamcast, so you see something pointed out to me, I'll pick it up, And what are these blue cases? I have no idea what they are. Are they the Japanese? Are they the PAL region? Let me know. I'd really appreciate it. Now right here, there's actually something really interesting. See the game on the bottom there, and moving up, we see the second one. Both these are for the Neo Geo Pocket. I had never seen any before, so it was honestly really interesting to see them. And right here, we've actually got their NES selection, like a copy of 8 Eyes there. Now, 8 Eyes is a game I'd never heard about until very recently. Apparently, it's a Castlevania clone. From the way it looks, it's interesting to me, so I might pick it up at some point. They've got some Double Dragon 2 and 3 right there, really awesome. Copy of Dragon Power. And for those of you that don't know, Dragon Power is actually a game for the original Dragon Ball series. Like whenever Goku was a kid. Not the greatest, but it's also real interesting that we have it. And the fact that it didn't come under the name of Dragon Ball was really neat, Got some Gradius right there. Not bad at all. Love me some Gradius. The Gauntlet series, 1 and 2 right there. Friday the 13th. Not a bad game at all, really. That copy of Little Nemo there really upsets me, though. I'm a big fan of that game, and it is so much fun, and it just breaks my heart to see the label in such terrible condition. And there's another copy of Friday the 13th. Interesting thing, though, with Friday the 13th, I've got it, and I've got the Jason Voorhees pop figure that looks like the game sprite. Really neat. I've also got the Freddy one, but I don't have Nightmare on Elm Street. I need to pick that one up. Definitely need to pick it up so that way I can display them, make them look real nice. Copy of Skate or Die. Now, they also had a copy of Ski or Die, which I didn't know which was a game until I saw it, so that was interesting. Another copy of 8 Eyes right there. Repsat Simon's Quest. Nothing too bad in their NES section for sure. Now right here we're going into their Super Nintendo selection. Nothing great, nothing terrible. But there's a game for everyone. I think there's at least something good to somebody in here. For me personally, there's just a lot of sports games, and I don't like sports games, so it's kind of like, meh. Like, I enjoy some of the classics like NBA Jam for sure, and, Street V3 for the GameCube I really loved. But I mean, just, not my style. And while we're scrolling through here, you're going to see a lot of different sports games. A couple of platformers and other classics like Space Invaders there. Really awesome game. But while we're going through all these, I'm actually going to take the time to thank both John and Rains. They were both the ones that were working that day. John was the manager. Really awesome guys. I couldn't have asked for better. Because while I was going through, I was picking up a bunch of different GameCube games. They let me look at every disc, pick which one I liked better. With any case, it was like, hey, this one's a little scuffed up. They're like, oh, cool. You can switch it out for this one. You can take the manual out of this one. Like, they were letting me sit there, flip and flop with everything, and that was super awesome of them. I couldn't appreciate it enough. Really awesome experience, and I highly suggest that if you're going to go in, mention me, and they'll be like, okay, cool, we can help you out too. There's a copy of F-Zero there. So like I said, there's some good stuff here, for sure. And if there is something that you're looking for that they don't have, and this is with any game exchange, you can go in, ask if any of the other stores have it. And they'll actually take the time to look it up. As long as it's within their district, they can actually have it shipped to the store and be like, here you go, you can buy it right then and there. Really awesome, in my opinion. Especially if you're, having trouble finding any games while you're out on the hunt, like I am quite often. So yeah, that's fun. Now the only problem is when it comes to like the disc games, you're going to have some problems because they don't specify if it has the original case and manual, so it sucks. Right here we've actually got their Genesis collection, like a copy of X-Men right there. Really awesome game. And somebody please tell me what Blocks is. I have no idea what that game is. The label looks interesting and I'm very tempted to pick it up, but I don't know. If somebody can tell me what that is, I would greatly appreciate it. I wouldn't mind playing it. And of course, going on down, we see a lot of the sports games as well. And again, you'll find this at just about any retro game shop, and that's the only crappy part about it. So, but that's not to say there's nothing good in here. I found plenty of good stuff through here. Like I picked up a box copy of Earthworm Jim, the cardboard version. Thought that was really interesting. Had everything with it. Looked great, played great. I was super happy with it. And I mean, they had it at a decent price too, so that made me really happy. We keep on going through here. We'll see some NBA games. And right here is our boxed selection. Now right here, though, is something I found really interesting. The Mega Games 1, copy of Mega Drive. Really interesting, the fact they had PAL games. I don't know how, but they did. But they don't anymore. I bought all of them, except that Mega Games. Right here, we've got their N64 selection, too. Excuse me. Now going through here, I'm not too familiar with the N64 because I didn't have one growing up. I do know, a lot of the good titles, like your Marios, your Mega Man, your Kirby's, obviously. But I mean, I don't really know very much about hidden gems. I've looked at Metal Jesus' video and he points out a decent amount. So does Nintendo, and that's pretty awesome. But, if you see something that you think I would definitely like, point it out to me. I might pick it up. Just no sports games. No sports games, please. But still, really neat, stuff like Mario Tennis I'd be okay with. And I mean, again, it's not to say that there's nothing bad through here, really. Because, I mean, you go through here, you can find some good games. Like we saw GoldenEye up top, Perfect Dark right there, Star Wars, really good game. Some Tony Hawk, Quest 64. Now, I don't know if that's honestly a good game. I've heard a lot about it, but it's only like, oh, here's a copy of Quest 64. I never heard if anybody was like, oh yeah, I love this game, you should pick it up. So I don't know. Some plenty of wrestling right here. I believe John Riggs would definitely love to get his hands on some of these if he doesn't have them. Ooh, Wheel of Fortune. Gotta pick that up. Now here's the moment I was most excited for, and I know you're looking forward to, is the GameCube selection. So going through here, they're a little out of order. It's since been fixed, thankfully. They've got a couple copies of Lost Kingdom and Lost Kingdom 2 there. Really good games, just kind of expensive. Sadly, you'll notice that, a lot of these games have the original GameStop sticker. Not too happy about that, but hey, you're gonna come across it quite often, with as powerful as GameStop was. Just kind of sucks. Keep going down, we'll see all these lovely sports games that I've got to pick up at some point, Is that what I think it is? Is that the ultra rare Mary-Kate and Ashley Sweet 16 game? Let's have a look. I think it is. It is! But $3.95, that's too expensive. Let's just put you right back. I'll be back. Don't worry. Continuing on, we see some Red Faction 2, some TAC. Really good. That Star Fox Adventure sadly didn't have a manual. That upset me. But what's this? What is this? Let's take a look. It is Tony Hawk's Underground. No manual, no cover, no thank you. Kind of sad. Now coming on up, we've actually got their Game Boy and Game Gear selection. Now right on top, I usually like to leave this game right here, so that way I know it didn't get touched. Surf Ninjas. Let's just put that right back. Stay. Right here we've actually got their Game Boy Advance. I've seen some good stuff come through here. I've picked up a couple of nice things. Pretty happy about it. Oh, another copy of Mary-Kate and Ashley right there. Right here's their Nintendo Switch selection. It's still a newer system, so they're not gonna have as much, And you'll notice I didn't actually record, the rest of the store, like Xbox and PlayStation stuff. Well, PS2 and up, because I just didn't see a point. Up next is TF Games. Let's see what they got. So coming in immediately to the left, we'll see their top shelf here, with some of the more rare games, some of their box stuff. Like here's Box Adventure for $500. A little ridiculous, but hey, it's for a collector for sure. Right underneath is, the more common NES games. Just like with Game Exchange, nothing too terrible. I've seen some really good stuff come through here, guys. I really have. And a funny story about this place is I actually used to work here. When I did, I saw some great stuff come through. I really did. And I mean, if you come here, they take good care of you too. They are able to haggle a little bit, as long as, a manager's there, or if they're able to get in contact with the manager at least. They will let you try to talk them down a little bit in price. So, because with what you see here, they go off of price charting listing. So basically, whatever price charting has, that's the main price. So there's a little bit of wiggle room. Sadly, not too much, but hey. On down, we've got their Super Nintendo selection, and right in the front, we'll see some of the more rare games. The more expensive ones mainly, but some good stuff through here for sure. I've seen even X2 come through, and I was so tempted to pick it up. I just didn't. By the time I came back, and during this recording, obviously it's not here, so that was a little upsetting. But hey, not bad. I've definitely picked up a lot of my Super Nintendo games from this store, though. Beneath is just some of their overflow stuff. They still try to keep a couple out for sure. Some of their boxed NES stuff. Copy of Lolo there. I wouldn't mind picking that up. And right here we've got, most of their Nintendo consoles, at least Super Nintendo, N64, the GameCube. And right above is even more overflow. Yeah, it's kind of a problem, but, with some of the stuff they sell so quickly, it gets kind of ridiculous. Moving on over, we will actually see their Sega stuff. Now they just cram all the Sega stuff together, Nintendo does have its own place separately in other parts of the store as well. Coming up top, we'll see some of the more rare games, again, more expensive stuff. But again, prices are reasonable, you can haggle. A couple copies of Corpse Killer for Sega CD and Sega CD 32X combo. Here's their Master System and Game Gear stuff. Some of the Sega CD and Dreamcast as well as mixed in here. Not a bad setup, Down here we got, your more common Genesis games, but some really good stuff, obviously, I've definitely seen worse come through here for Genesis, for sure. And down below that, they've got some overflow of the Genesis, like sports stuff, but this is mainly their boxed. And right here they've got some consoles, Dreamcast, Sega Genesis, and a copy of Telengard. I forget for what it is, but nothing too bad. And as you'll notice, they carry a bunch of different accessories and controllers, just in case you're looking for something that you need and you don't mind getting third-party stuff. Right in the display case right at the front is actually their Game Boy selection, DS, stuff like that. And I mean, there's been plenty of times I've gone through here and I've found some great stuff. I picked up a copy of Chrono Trigger for the DS. I was so happy about that. As well as seen a copy of Contra 4 and I never picked it up. That upset me. Moving over, we see plenty of controllers and accessories. And then right here, we've got their handheld stuff. Now in the background there, that's David. David was the guy that allowed me to film in here. Super cool dude, really good friend of mine. He's super chill to talk to, guys. So if you go in there, have a small conversation with him. He'll enjoy it. So we see their Wii and Wii U selection. I mean, I'm not against the Wii or anything like that, you know. I know I didn't show it at Game Exchange, just because I didn't feel like it, you know. It was one of those things I only wanted to show what I was interested in. But because of how small this store is, I'm fine with showing the whole place. So it's not a huge deal, you know. And then down below, we see what I'm coming for. Is the GameCube stuff. Oh, almost dropped the camera there. Now, I mean, there are plenty of copies here that I definitely need to pick up, you know. Like, I know I need to pick up that Jimmy Neutron. And I mean, obviously you're going to find your Player's Choice stuff, which does suck, but what are you going to do? A few good games for sure, though. Like that copy of Rocky there, I do need me a copy of Rocky. And then, of course, the basketball, sports, and all that. But And right through here, we've actually got their original Xbox selection. Nothing too bad for sure. Now, I mean, at one point, I did find a copy of Conquer Reloaded here. And Game Exchange currently does have one as well. I just need to pick it up. But, I mean, it's one of those things, you know. I'm willing to go to the competitors all the time, especially if the prices are better. And the owner does know that. He knows that you'll go wherever you need to. So that's why he's willing to haggle a little bit, you know. He's a reasonable guy. He just has a bit of a stern voice. So if he intimidates you, don't worry. He's really not that mean. Love you, Rick. So going on down, we see in the rest of these, beautiful game. Test Drive was honestly a really fun game for me. I really did like that. But then, you know, right behind here is their 360 and Xbox One. They've got some great selections here. See something you like, point it out to me. I'm always willing to look at newer stuff as well. But again, I can't do first-person shooter stuff. I get really bad motion sickness. And you'll notice I didn't show the PS2 or PS3 stuff. That's honestly because I forgot, and I'm sorry. That's my bad, guys. But hey, you know, whatever you're looking for, they'll let you know if they get it. Right here we got their PSP stuff. But on the other side is what I'm interested in. You got some standard stuff, you know, you got tablet, Funko Pops, you know, nothing too bad. But below that is that Bender, and I want that so bad. He's just expensive. So our last store is actually the second TF Games that had just opened whenever I was recording this. It was the second day being open. And immediately to the right we'll see their Sega Genesis stuff, as, you know, as well as some of the other Sega consoles. Some good stuff, you know. That copy of Double Dragon for the Master System I do need to pick up at some point. Just because, like, I love Double Dragon and I just want it. And it was a good price. Well, I mean, yeah, for sure. And just like the other store, up top you're going to find some of the more harder to find, more expensive games. You know, there's a lot of similarities between the two. It's just, this being a franchise now, you got two separate people to really deal with. But super nice. Right here you got their Xbox, PlayStation, you know. Some of the limited edition stuff, kind of neat. The boxed Halo edition Xbox. Some steel case stuff, you know, Kinect right there. Nobody liked the Kinect, but it was a thing. Some box stuff on the bottom as well, like DJ Hero and I think Jump is what that is. A little over to the left is their PlayStation selection. Pretty good stuff through here. There's see some Final Fantasies. Some Spider-Man. I love me some Spider-Man. Just above that, they've got, a little bit more rare, a little bit hard to find, kind of nice. And right here should be their more rare PS2 games, because they do have them elsewhere in the store. Some of the bigger box stuff and PlayStation 4 stuff right here. Pretty neat, pretty neat. Over here we've got, bottom shelf, N64s, GameCubes, Wii, Super Nintendo, NES. And right above that we've got their Super Nintendo selection. Now, I mean, just like with the others, and I'm going to keep mentioning this just because, I want to stress this. You're going to find a lot of, sports games, random stuff like that. This store has also been, shuffled through and everything by the quote-unquote owner of this one. But hey, he knows what he's looking at least most of the time. Good selection of N64 games here for sure, like Conker's Bad Fur Day right there. I'm going to pick that up at some point. And right above that is their NES selection. Now this, you'll definitely notice a lot of similarities between the other store. Because, I mean, it's a lot of very common games. What would you expect? Still super cool. So while we're going through these, I'm going to thank Justin for letting me film in here. It's actually this franchise's owner's brother. Little brother. Super cool dude. Again, just like with the other stores, he'll help you out. This one is actually located in Radcliffe, however, so it's a bit more of a drive, about 20 minutes from the E-Town store. Not bad though. Right here on the bottom we got, their very small selection of Wii U games, because sadly Wii U didn't do that great, so nobody's going to have a big selection of them. And right above that is the GameCube. Now, I mean, I went through this like crazy while I was here, just trying to find something good to pick up, right? And I thought about that Super Monkey Ball 2, but then I saw it was Player's Choice. I'm not doing that right now, so that kind of sucked. And that Resident Evil 4 there, I do need a better copy of it. That isn't Player's Choice, obviously, as well as Sonic Adventure 2 Battle. But neither of them had their manual, so that really bugged me. That really bugged me a lot. Same with Street V3 there, no manual. And I'm going to run into that a lot, and I know that. So you might hear me complain about it here and there for sure. You know what I mean? There's going to be games I'm going to pick up, especially more expensive ones, where it's just going to be the disc, and I'm just going to replace the case. And I am totally fine with that. Replace the case, maybe buy the manual later down the road, if anything. But hey, it's what I'm going to do, and I'm okay with it. Some Dragon Ball Z there. Some Bionicle. I don't know if those were any good or not. I really don't know. Some Defender and Dragon Ball there. Really cool games. Now right here's their Wii selection. Just like the other store, I'm going to go through here. See something you like, tell me about it, and I'll pick it up. More than likely, we'll see. If you're pulling my leg on it, I may not. Like Wario Land there, I'm going to pick that up at some point. Because I still love my Wii. I really do. It took a while for me to get one. But I'm happy I got one. Same with my Wii U. Right there, we got some Zeldies. Skyward Sword and Twilight Princess. Still need to pick up a copy of Skyward Sword, actually. Maybe someday. We'll see. And of course, you got some very standard stuff. Like family games, random spin-off movie games, the crappy Call of Duty Wii games. Sad, but, true. Nothing too special up top, really. And then behind me, we'll see their PS2, PS3, original Xbox selection. These I'm not going to go through just because it would have honestly taken too long, and this video is already long enough. And I know you're probably tired by now of listening to my voice. So we're just going to scroll by them, show you the rest of the store real quick. And over here, we'll notice that they've got all the mini console selections. Now they're actually trying to make this into a nice little chill place. The other store, they don't like that just because it's so small. But here they're trying to get it set up so that way you can enjoy yourself a bit more. And over here they do have some regular merchandise, that you would usually find at places like Barnes & Noble, Walmart. But I mean, it's a game store, so they're trying to help you out. Same with the accessories. You're going to find some used stuff, obviously, if you want original. But I mean, overall, the prices over here, oddly enough, really aren't that bad. I've seen worse. And again, we're looking at loose DS games. If you were listening earlier, I'm not a fan of that. Some Game Boy stuff. They had some good stuff for sure. Like right here, actually, is a copy of Mario vs. Donkey Kong. I do want to get that at some point. Some really neat 3D printed Pokemon. That was honestly really neat to see. And that Gengar was super sharp too. Some of the consoles that they have, and right up here in the front is actually some of the more rare stuff that you'll find for systems. Really neat. I gotta admit, really neat. I really do like the way they set up the store. Over here they got their DS selection and other handhelds. And honestly, those are pretty decently priced. Like the original DS, about $30. Not bad. And then the sign in the back.
So we're back in the room. It's been about a day since I went out, sadly. Actually, 2. Because I went out on Thursday night, went out again on Friday night, or Friday morning, just because I didn't have enough time to go up to the Radcliffe store. But you all got to see where I'd like to go, saw some of the games that they had. Let me know what you think. I really want to pick up something new. I saw a couple of games that, I did want to pick up, and that's the whole point of this part. Pick up a few. We'll see what they are. So I picked up about 8 games. Now I'm going to go in the order of where I picked them up at, So first, next up, Avatar: The Last Airbender. I was a really big fan of the show, and this was a game that, I had heard was actually pretty decent. So I decided to pick it up, give it a shot. From what I can tell, it's pretty good so far. I didn't get to play too much. Whenever I first booted it up, I decided to sit there and actually watch what all happened whenever you booted it up. Really neat that they added the actual intro to it. Very nice touch. Really great though. I'm very happy with this. We're going to go with Game Exchange. So, we've got 3 games right here. First one I'm going to talk about is The Hobbit. I booted this game up, just making sure it worked and everything. Honestly, it was really weird seeing Bilbo the way it was. I'm honestly really excited to play this though. It's a game that I've seen for years and I just never picked it up till now, and I'm honestly kind of curious. Really excited to play it now. So we'll see. So next up, we've got 3 more games. These 3 come from the Elizabethtown TF Games. And I'll start with, something simple first. That's the Midway Arcade Treasures. Lastly, this one actually has a story. So, I picked up Power Rangers Dino Thunder for a couple reasons, because one, I needed it for the collection. I was also a really big fan of the show back in the day. But I had opened up this case, right? Just making sure it had its manual and everything, just out of curiosity. And I happened to find a TF Games receipt. Now, as I mentioned in the earlier part of the video, I used to work at that specific TF Games. So the funny part with this one is, and I didn't notice it whenever I actually picked it up, it actually has my name on it. And I did not realize that this was the game that I had sold until I looked at the receipt, saw my name, and I realized it because I remember selling this game. And I just thought it was so hilarious that I ended up finding it again at the competitor location. I thought that was really funny. Yeah, it's got, stickers, tape all over it. It even still had the original sticker that I put on it. But it was something that I just couldn't let go. Whenever I actually went to check it out, the guy was trying to take out the receipt. I was like, oh, no, you put that back in there. That's mine. Put it back. And I actually didn't notice I had my name on until I got home. That was the funniest part about it. Next up is Marvel Nemesis: Rise of the Imperfects. I'm a really big Marvel fan. I read some of the comics, mostly Spider-Man, even though Captain America is my favorite. But I was also really interested in this, and even the guy that, David, he was kind enough to go ahead and recommended it to me. He's also a really big Marvel fan, so I was like, okay, cool, man. Picked it up, and I don't regret it. I really don't. So with this game, I booted it up, and I'll be perfectly honest, I do not like the menu to select the games. Because, like, you either have to sit there and actually wait to see what it's playing, or, it's an ugly menu. But the games play fine, And I mean, it was one that I needed for the collection, so I mean, I'm not complaining. And lastly, we're down to the final two from the Radcliffe TF games. So, I'm going to start off with Defender. So, this was a game I actually did try to play for a little bit. Some people say they like it, a good chunk do. I was not a fan of the controls. I won't lie. Maybe there's a way that I can configure the controls, I'm not sure yet. But the fact that I had to sit there and just keep pressing the trigger on my controller, I found that kind of ridiculous just to move. I was not a fan of that. And I mean, granted, I haven't played the original Defender, so I can't really be like, oh, well, the original was so much better, because I don't know. So, I mean, I can't really give that too much crap. And I mean, I will play more into it, because a lot of people say that the story is honestly decent, gameplay's pretty fun once you get going, and it actually keeps going up as your missions go on with your skill level. And I think that's interesting, so I'm willing to give it a shot. And lastly is Dragon Ball Z Budokai. This game, I'm a really big DBZ fan. I've actually got, a good chunk of the pops sitting over here, at least from the original releases. Then they start coming out with more, and more, and more, and it got ridiculous, so I stopped collecting those. I still pick up a few here and there, like I've got a couple sitting in the bedroom right now that just haven't made their way in here. So I booted up this game, and I thought it was super interesting. They used the Japanese intro with the American Dragon Ball Z theme. And I thought that was so interesting. They completely recreated the intro, all with the game graphics, and they could have done like Avatar, where they just threw in the actual animation. I would have been fine with that, but the fact that they went through that much work, I thought was so impressive. I will not lie. And I mean, I know this game is honestly a really good fighting game, so I'm really excited to actually play this bit. The back of the case is a little beat up, but I'm not too worried about that, The manual looks fine, disc looks fine. Like, thankfully, none of these games were like super damaged. This is the worst that I saw out of it. And it looks like that maybe the previous owners had a cat or something. Lastly is Rocky. I will not deny, I went through a couple of the exhibition matches, and I got my butt handed to me. Mainly because I didn't know how to play the game, so I'm sitting there, I'm just pressing all the buttons, trying to figure this out. And even after I figured out the controls and everything, it was still honestly kind of hard, and that kind of excites me. I really want to play some more of this, because I love Rocky, I love the entire series, and I really want to, see what else is in this game. So I'm really excited. So that's actually it. Picked up about 8 more games. That's 8 more to check off the list, guys. That's right, I made sure to actually not check them off this time, just for you. But yeah, I think that'll be it for today, guys. Sorry the video was kind of late. I got really busy yesterday on Friday. Somebody decided to take me out drinking. I was okay with that, they paid. So, I mean, I wasn't going to complain. I had a good night at least. But I was really upset that I couldn't get this done for you. But it's going to be done now. And hope you guys enjoyed it. Make sure to like, subscribe, and comment, please. And take care.